First of all, I'd like to make a quick little apology to anyone that watched this on YouTube last week. And I was a little twitchy. I noticed when I was watching the video. I still have, but not as bad, this thing going on here. It's getting old. I don't know. I'm laughing, but I think it may have been because of the backpack that you've seen the vlogs that I had on. A combination of that and I had a lot of stuff in that bag. Not making excuses, but I had it on 10 to 12 hours a day on top of that. Plus, I slept weird on my neck. The following Sunday, I got back from that trip, so I have to attribute it to that. I don't know. Anyway, was really having a hard time getting comfortable sitting here doing that podcast last week. But whatever. The Mulan teaser.
Oh, yes, yeah.
All right, so we saw the Mulan teaser. What did you think of that? Did you catch it?
Yeah, it looks all right.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
right?
I haven't actually haven't have I seen any? I don't think I've seen any of the live action. I saw part of Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't really dove into the live action ones yet. But it looks more, from what I've seen of previews, this one looks more realistic. It doesn't have a little Mushu.
Yeah, is Mushu not going to be in this?
I don't think he's going to be in it. That. So it seems more like a realistic take on, which looks interesting, because I know the other ones, you had you can't do Beauty and the Beast without the furniture and stuff, and then Aladdin and the Genie. So it's at least it looked good.
Yeah, and they gave you a couple little splats of shot for shot stuff with the exercising and the training.
Mm-hmm.
We're on right out of the movie.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up on Mushu yet, though. I wonder if that's going to be a thing or not. He's a popular.
Yeah, he was
So I don't know.
He was
We'll see.
He was popular.
It was a teaser, so who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, no Mushu there, so who knows? I find it interesting. I find the actress they picked, the player, definitely looks a lot like Mulan. And I think that I am getting a little bit of live action fatigue here. I didn't think I would, but now I'm starting to. Which will lead us into what we're going to discuss today anyway. So with that said, still looking forward to Mulan, and definitely looking forward to Lion King here in a couple weeks. Hey everyone, welcome to the show, episode 17, Quick Diz Takes podcast. Today we are going to discuss whether or not we think it's a good thing or a bad thing that Disney is kind of gobbling up a lot of these intellectual properties. So not really sure where that's going to go, but it'll be interesting to hear both of our takes on that and where we're at in that. I was actually discussing this with a friend the other day and just kind of came up in casual conversation. I thought to myself, it's kind of a good topic to talk about, so why not do it on the show? Before we do that, though, a couple of things. While we were off air, Johnny had just mentioned that I guess pass holder emails are going to be going out for the Galaxy's Edge registration for the preview. So if you're an annual pass holder like ourselves, or a lot of you are, keep an eye out for that. Hopefully, knock on wood, we get everyone gets those. I'm not sure if there's select people or what's going to happen there.
See, I don't know if I would get one because I don't have an active annual pass. I haven't activated it yet.
Yeah,
so I don't even know if that counts for me because I'm not going to activate it till the day before I go in the park when I go down there.
That's the thing,
and
too.
It didn't say, because I did.
Which would be kind of BS because, you got it, right? Why should you have to? But I don't know. I don't know how Disney works that stuff. Also, real quick, I heard, or I'm sure you've all heard, of the closures going on in Epcot coming up very soon. So Future World's going to get its facelift very quickly. We've talked about this on the show in the past, and just bringing it up now because it looks like it's going to happen sooner than later. So that'll be an interesting thing with Club Cool and all that stuff shutting down.
Yeah, did they say that mostly seemed like it said everything was going to be relocated. It didn't say.
Yeah.
From what I didn't read every single one, but it did. Most of them seemed like it said shut down temporarily. So
yeah,
hopefully...
the character spots are going to different places and all that stuff, which is good, I guess, because you still get to keep the experiences. But I mean, let's face it, that whole area needs a lot of work. And I heard somebody talking about them looking at the I want to say it was the Shanghai concept of kind of like nature and technology merging into one to kind of give a look of, you get a lot of trees and flowers mixed in with kind of a futuristic type, or I should say more contemporary look, which if that's what they're going for, I think that's a good idea. I mean, they fight over the future idea, is just not really, it's just too tough to keep up with. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
So let's see where they go with that. And it can't get any worse. And, with the video I showed on the last 2 podcasts ago with how they're kind of opening up the entrance and everything, it looks like Epcot's going in the kind of like direction that most, at least fans, want it to go in. So that should be good. Anyway, let's get to the topic. Let's cut to the chase. Question is, is it a bad or good thing, or kind of a whatever thing, that Disney seems to, it's no secret, they're just gobbling up a lot of different IPs that aren't their own. And I guess, is this kind of getting away from the original idea of what Disney was all about? Or is it staying in line? Is it their fault? Is it other studios' faults? I mean, there's a lot of questions to be answered here. And with all those other questions that I just asked answered, which we will in a minute, the other underlying thing is it just the way of the world? Like, you can't, if it wasn't, in other words, if it wasn't Disney, would somebody else be doing it? You know what I mean? So,
I'd say Comcast would be doing it. They're trying to do it.
And that's what I said. When this conversation that I mentioned earlier, Disney has, let's go back a little bit. They acquire Marvel, right? And so now they have this property. And they have obviously cashed in on this property. But when you look at other Marvel things, other Marvel attempts studios have made to make movies with these characters and these properties, is it really Disney's fault that they have seemed to have more success getting it done over, let's say, we go back to the early 2000s, they started the X-Men franchise. That went over well. I think they kind of, after X-Men 2, though, I think it kind of simmered a little bit. And this is coming from someone's opinion that's not really that into this. So if you have arguments to be made, the comment section below, by all means, hit me up on Twitter, by all means, come right at me. But with that said, Fantastic Four was epic failure every time.
Yep, both the times they tried that. Yep.
And then the reboot on top of that.
Yeah.
So you had the album ones with Michael Chiklis.
You had the two, reboot. And then yep.
And I heard those were just absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
Granted, Iron Man found a little success. And then that's kind of right in the area where Disney kind of made the move to purchase the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or create it, buy it and then create it. The Incredible Hulk, the original incarnation of the Incredible Hulk with Eric Bana, was absolutely horrendous in my opinion. I think a lot of people's opinion. And even after the first 2 Spider-Mans, that went down. They
were decent, and that third one was just awful.
Yeah, so.
And then you can even use that as those are made not with Disney, and now you look at Spider-Man now with Disney, and it's incredible how popular this new Spider-Man version is, and it's just they seem to just do it better and know what to do,
and that's fine. And all well and good as we stand right now, as we sit here today. And we'll keep on Marvel here for a minute. We'll go one step at a time. So the question is, though, and I bring up the WWE, WCW comparison I brought up in previous podcasts. Is it going, once the competition simmers, do you think it's going to compromise the integrity of the art, the films? Also, if you make enough, sooner or later you're gonna fail somewhere. You know, I don't know.
You can compare that, because one of the ones that works outside of Disney is the Deadpool movies, and the Deadpool is on a different level of Disney, where you get the.
It's under Fox, correct? Now.
Yeah, it's Fox, so now Disney owns it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, it's a different It's like a different, like, it's it's got the dirty humor, it's got the language, it's got that stuff, which is not a Disney thing. So now we'll be able to compare those movies to now that Disney owns that franchise part of it through Fox. Is that going to change? Will Disney be able to do the more adult stuff, or because they're in that world of the Marvel movies, they're family friendly?
Yes.
Are they going to be able to do that? That'll be a different comparison to. That'll be something different to compare it to.
Yeah, and we'll see when that happens.
Yeah.
Obviously, Deadpool 3 is going to happen.
Yeah, they got to bring.
Not only that, but it meshes with the X-Men universe.
Mm-hmm.
So they got a toe line there, because they're going to try to bring X-Men into the cinematic universe now that they own that.
Yeah, and
right?
this big colossal failure that with the last one, the Dark Phoenix or whatever it's called.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, and once again, I am not a big superhero movie fan. I see some here and there, so
yeah.
Please, by any means, I apologize if I'm off on this, but I see Dark Phoenix, like the trailer. I didn't see it.
Nope.
I think myself, it doesn't even look good.
No.
I don't even want to see that.
No.
And I think that has that effect. Like, I've seen Black Panther, I've seen Captain Marvel. Those were entertaining. I've seen the first Avengers, and literally the only one I've seen out of the 3. Or 4. I'm sorry, 4, right? And once again, not an expert. And those are good movies and well-made films and stuff. I've seen Captain America: Civil War, couple here and there. I have Ant-Man, like that one. I'm all over the place. I'm not, I'm not linear on the timeline. Thor Ragnarok was another one I've seen. I like these movies when I see them, I guess, for the most part, but I'm not, like, overly enthused. I know a lot of people are. Way more people are than aren't, so that's great. But I guess what I'm getting at is, and the big question here is, kind of circling back again, is what is going to be, like, how are they going to handle this? Are they going to get lazy? I don't think so. Because I think you're talking about the adult thing. Now, Disney, they started, I believe it was New Line Cinema back in the early 90s or late 80s. They started Miramax. I mean, literally Pulp Fiction was made under the Disney label. People didn't realize that. Mm-hmm. I think they're good. And this is not my answer to this question, by the way. I'm still not there yet, but I'm just saying I do think they understand the idea of kind of letting the studios that they buy govern themselves and kind of make their product, because overall it's better to compete, even internally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They do it with the restaurants on property, for example. Those are managed independently.
Yeah, yeah.
And they kind of let it do its thing. And they're good ones and they're bad ones. Mm-hmm. Like anything else in the world.
I think part of it with the newer acquisitions is they just make a humongous deal that Disney now owns it. Like you were saying with Miramax, people weren't like, oh, that's under... They didn't necessarily know, oh, this is a part of Disney. So it's just that they make such a big deal that Disney bought, they bought Fox, they bought Marvel, they bought Star Wars. So now everybody knows, they think Star Wars, oh, Disney owns it too. It's just, everything's just made a bigger deal now. Yeah,
and I think, and that's part of it too, but I do think, and my friend that I was talking about this with made the point, but like, it does, from an entertainment aspect, like it does get a little wishy-washy, because you're thinking to yourself, well, how many more things do they buy before they just call it quits? But the only thing is, like, you could argue that, let's say they bought everything, just for argument's sake. I still don't quite think the American public, they're eating it up now, but it's pretty quality for the most part. Mm-hmm. If they got lazy and just started doling out mediocre nonsense, I don't know the answer to this. I would like to think that people would be like, and then some independent studio somewhere would come out. People would be looking for something better if they don't. They're still held responsible to produce quality.
Yes.
Even though they own a lot. You know what I mean? Not that I still think it's a good thing to own a lot. We'll get to that later, but I don't know if it's a bad thing, and I don't know that if it wasn't them, it would be somebody else. I don't know if we could avoid this at this point in the game. Like, someone's gonna get, like, it's just to the point now where someone's getting big, like department store style. Someone's gonna buy somebody else and be better, or be bigger.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad, because they just had more money in their pocket. With Fox, you say to yourself, did Fox, I don't know the details of this. Did Fox need to sell what they sold to Disney for $76 billion? Or could they have stood in the game? Or were they just finding that every attempt they made to make something that they owned, i.e. Alien Covenant, the X-Men movies, all right, Deadpool was a hit, but I mean, few and far between, were they just like, you know what? We can't, rub together these two nickels and a quarter anymore.
Maybe, they thought we can't sustain we can't, play with the rest of we can't play with everybody in an equal way, and we need to just, maybe they were at the point we need to, if we can get out now and,
I mean, you're still cashing $76 billion, which is shake a stick at.
Yeah, get a big
payout.
Yeah, and then just.
Also, how many more failures are you allotted with those given properties before people are like, I'm not going to see those anymore? Like, all right, you gave us 3 Alien reboots, we're done. They're junk. And Disney's like, and this is all speculation once again. Granted, I'm a little pro-Disney, but just looking at it kind of in the middle. And that is, they look at it and say, we can make that movie right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and we have enough resources and people on board to say, I'll find the right guy to make this movie. Although, albeit, some people don't agree with that when they made Last Jedi. But...
Yeah, but it just seems like the higher crop of people, the more imaginative, just they see Disney as the top, and they want to go work for Disney. So it just seems like they have a better pool of people to put these different movies or whatever out to for ideas and stuff.
And so now we're down to basically, we talked about this in the podcast a couple weeks ago. I think we tried to name all the studios and we're both kind of dumbfounded.
Oh, yeah,
You're down to Fox, down to Universal, down to Disney.
Sony.
A couple of independent ones, Sony. So, like, I see where, my said friend is, where his concern lies, because sooner or later, like, where does this end? But I don't think, I mean, and it's there is certainly a formula. It's formulaic, so maybe that rubs people the wrong way or gets old over time. But right now, people couldn't be more happy. I mean, well, with Marvel for the most part, at least they seem to be knocking it out of the park with Marvel.
Yeah. Star
Wars, we'll get into in a minute, and there's some gray area there. But there's been gray area. Actually, we'll get to Star Wars right now. There's been some gray area with Star Wars for a long time, prior to Disney even. I mean, I don't think many people were fans of the Lucas prequels. I've learned to like them in a weird way over time because I just like Star Wars, and I think a lot of people have because of that.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
As a story, if you want to watch the whole story, you kind of have to accept it. I mean, you don't have to love it, but it is what's part of the story, and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, you learn to find your spots that you like, but.
And like anything else, the prequels got their flaws to the max.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think it's over scrutinized. Other times I think it's well deserved. But when you look at the reboot, or not the reboot, but the continuation of the saga now, like, I think that's a little over scrutinized because right off the get go, because of it being owned by Disney and it being Star Wars. Star Wars, I mean, you're never gonna win both sides one way or the other.
No.
I love I'm a casual Star Wars fan who loves Star Wars. I'm into it, but I'm not gonna like read 100 books or do anything like that. But the movie, you put a movie out, I'm going opening night. I love it.
Oh yeah. And then
And I think so far it's so good. I mean, The Last Jedi, there's definitely problems with it in my mind. Like we're not gonna get into that. We're not reviewing The Last Jedi right now, but I mean overall, it was an attempt, and we'll see where the third one, if it brings it together, if it bookends it properly.
I can say too that Rogue One is one of my favorite.
Rogue One's excellent.
Is one of my favorite out of everyone, agree. And
Absolutely agree.
And even I feel bad for. I liked the Solo, but I feel
I did too.
It was just
a lot of people did.
We just got that one in December, and then they pushed it out.
Yeah.
It was people had it. They should have just kept it. It was a nice little Christmas present to myself. I just go to the movies.
Yeah,
watch my Star Wars movie.
And I think it's true. Like with Solo too, I think the evidence, the proof is in the pudding, because now that it's kind of simmered, you see petitions being signed. They want a sequel. A lot of like nerds coming out and kind of like getting behind it, because there was nothing wrong with it.
No,
what it was.
No.
Was it too soon? Yeah. I don't think we need. I mean, for me, I guess no. I was fine with it, but like overall, I can see why. I mean, first of all, you just released the most unpopular one that you made so far, and then now 5 months later you're putting out another one, and I don't think we need a Star Wars movie every 5 months.
No.
Once a year is already a lot, and
Yeah, and now after this next one, I think we're gonna get the break, and then. We'll see how
we'll get some shows.
We'll see how the Mandalorian, which looks really good.
Looks cool.
We'll see, and then if they, because they're saying this is the end of the Skywalker saga, so it pushes them into something different, to think of something new. So,
let's weigh it out, and let's look at it and say to ourselves: do we think Fox or Universal or Sony could have done this better? And I certainly can tell you that Lucasfilm has had enough chances and has told me that it can't.
No.
To kind of parlay this into the next thing I wanted to bring up, which is you were talking about the Mandalorian, is Netflix, Disney Plus, and the potential, I guess, death of Netflix. People are kind of fearing is going to happen because they think Disney's kind of basically taking over the streaming world now with Hulu and Disney Plus.
Yeah, and it just seems like the streaming, like everybody, it's going to be why people want to get rid of cable. It seems like every company is going to have their own streaming service now. So, I don't think Disney will be the end of Netflix, but just everybody. Like, the big thing was the pulling The Office because NBC is going to start their own thing, and then. It just we see in how Netflix model is going. They're pushing a lot of their original stuff,
which is good. Yeah, the point I brought up in the gym the other day.
But I don't think it's gonna be. I think it'll all just level out, and then it'll be you gotta pick and choose what you wanna.
I mean, Disney's got a leg up.
Yeah.
Right. There's no doubt about that. You can't argue that. But I mean.
No, they have a ton of content.
And it's. I mean.
And
once again,
buying Fox, I think, was a big part of that.
Yeah. Once again, point taken on that, but. What do? Like, I'm not a fan. Look, I don't want them to have a monopoly, and if it gets to that point, we talked about this off air. Hopefully the government steps in. But as it stands right now, it's in that area where it's like, well, if everyone's kind of sitting back and letting this happen, then it's going to happen. Like, you can't. Disney puts their entire library out from all its classics. That's not their fault. They have that. They made that. That's them. Granted, they grabbed Marvel. They grabbed Star Wars. They got into cahoots with Netflix, with Marvel. Netflix made shows that were successful, and now you get people being like, well, they're pulling those, so there goes Netflix. Well, you know what? Netflix didn't have a gripe when there was no competition, and it was making them millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But you always have to bear in mind that when you're working with a company like that, and this goes for anything, that they have their own 2 feet to stand on. You're licensing. I mean, Netflix essentially makes a lot of their money on licensing other things from other companies. Like they get together with Stars or HBO or, I mean, this isn't all true, but I'm just saying, like cable networks to pull their movies on or whatever deals they come up with. And they came up with a big one for Disney a couple of years back, and that worked out well for them. But you have to bear in mind that at some point that's going to end, most likely, and be prepared for it. And I don't think Netflix was necessarily unprepared for it. No. I think they have good original content.
The amount of money they're pushing into original content, the amount of money they're giving comedians to do their specials on it, it's
and people like it.
Yeah.
It's a good night with your friends, get a little drunk or something, watch a quick stand-up with someone, they're pumping out more stand-ups than ever, like more than they did 10 years ago. And they keep coming up with different ideas. Stranger Things is awesome. I don't know if you watch that, but people do. It's a great show. And they make great shows. They have them. Documentaries they come out with are pretty good. I mean, they're definitely doing some cool stuff, and I hope they continue to do some cool stuff. And I think, who knows? Maybe my friend is right, and Disney will squash them, and that'll be unfortunate. Or maybe they'll push them even harder, and Netflix will be like, "Here's this, here's this."
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Netflix, I think, kind of saved Adam Sandler a little bit.
Yeah, because he certainly needed it.
He was pretty bad before Netflix, but they have the money now, and they're using their money to get original stuff. Do what they need to do to compete more and get more of their own library.
So we'll see how that goes. They have some shows people like. Stranger Things just finished season 3. Just watched all that. It was awesome. Season 4 is obviously going to come.
Yeah, the only problem with that that's at least when I try to watch Netflix, I would love to sit there and just watch every episode, but I like the way I like Stranger Things, for example. I usually watch it on Saturdays and Sundays. I watch an episode a piece when I'm at the gym on the elliptical. I give myself, so I stretch it out a little bit. That's the only problem I think with the throwing it out there is the Stranger Things will be popular for you get the big internet stuff and the everything trending. You get a week or two maybe. That's the only problem. Is if you do that, you got to put out so much stuff that people will be attracted to and want to watch constantly. That's the only problem with. And I don't really know how other things like. I don't know how true it is, but I thought I heard something when this Mandalorian show comes out. It's not going to be every episode right away. I thought that I don't even know what maybe it was the Diz or something I was listening to was going to be maybe once a week or something. I don't know what the detail was, but it didn't seem like they were going to throw everything out there so you can just binge it, which I think is a little smarter.
It's funny you mentioned that because I actually I texted you about the topic earlier and I was driving home and I was thinking about that and I was like, one thing they could definitely do to combat this was that like you could just trickle out an episode or two. Or pick because you could have dragged Stranger Things until October if you wanted to. And that's up to them. But what Scott was saying earlier, he's like I don't even remember. It's all kind of a blur when you binge. That's one bad thing about it. And I was like, yeah that's true too.
That's why I try to bet. Like I did the same thing. I just watched. I started watching Ozark on Netflix.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I did the same thing. Just one or two. I tried to keep it more at a regular thing.
Yeah,
that's what
I try to do,
but
then I just watch all Stranger Things in like 2 days.
Yeah, right.
Unfortunately,
because they know they know how to end those show episodes and just like, okay, I got to see what happens. So
that definitely puts the pressure on themselves because they got to produce more. I'm sure they have some kind of formula we don't even know about. What maybe that works out. Where they're like, well, word of mouth is going to get people to come buy this, but word of mouth to get people to buy this when they're spreading it over 4 months, and then so like you have here's Stranger Things, and that goes from like it was 4th of July this year, but let's just say March until March, April, May, and then June, boom, here comes Glow, June, July, August, and here comes Ozark, and then here comes and people would be more apt to watch them. The binge thing I think really took flight for them. Because they were borrowing shows from other channels and people were binging them. Like, so for example, I wasn't up to speed on Breaking Bad, for example. But
I was just going to say the same thing. Yep.
I was like, I can catch up now.
I caught up, and then I was the one, one of the ones that was sitting there. When is the season 5? And then you sit there, wait. Yeah, I did the same thing.
So if they can continue to pull shows like that, then fine. But I think that's going to be a problem now, considering Disney has stepped in and now NBC's going their way and CBS going their way, and who knows where A&E might end up. Any of these, if A&E has even 4 good shows, they could make a streaming service, arguably, right?
Yeah.
With their backlog plus this. So, I mean, point taken about Disney, and we'll see where it goes, and we'll see what happens. But there's a lot more to it than that. I mean, you could argue anyone could come into the game and just gobble up content and make this happen that has the money. And I guess Apple could have probably done it. Amazon has already done it. But, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just tough to really tell with that. Although, I wouldn't be surprised if what he said was right. But I wouldn't be surprised if what he said is wrong. You know, I don't know. Time will tell.
Yeah, I just think the way it's going with all this is it's just gonna be like I think cable is gonna go way down, and it's just gonna be you're gonna get your a la carte type thing. You're gonna pick and choose what you're gonna watch, and that'll make competition because you're gonna pay whatever your $6-7 a month for this service or this service, and it's just
now, the thing with that, John, is that people are saying because Disney's looking to package Disney Plus with Hulu and ESPN, are they going to become kind of like that? You know, are we going to go back down that road again?
Yeah, because then they could throw ABC in there too.
Yeah.
So they. Yeah.
Well, I guess which would be I would assume on Hulu.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I keep forgetting about the Hulu with them.
And the thing that it's funny when you watch Disney buy things too is like what also motivates them over other things is that they own extremely successful theme parks. Mm-hmm. So Marvel, Star Wars, some of the Fox stuff all make sense to own because you can put them in your theme park and make more money there too. I mean, look what they're doing with Star Wars, and they're going to do with Marvel. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, the Fox one just...
their motivation's obvious. It's obvious.
Yeah, it's just going to be a little weird because Fox is so vast and it's a bunch of different things. It's not just, your Marvel, your Star Wars. So it's going to be weird to see that in the parks. But, I mean, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think with X-Men, that's a no-brainer. I think they just feel good about completely owning Avatar now that they have a land. And now they can control that.
I know they've been talking about how The Simpsons are going to be at D23 this year, which is very... I don't know, that's just still weird. Yeah, that's a weird one to me.
That's the thing where I'm a Disney fan, but I say to myself, what's not... I don't know if The Simpsons need be in Disney parks.
Yeah, it's just...
I don't know if that's what they're going with it or not, but if it's at D23, it kind of scares me.
Testing the waters, and I don't know.
That's the thing where, if anything, you just use that as a bargaining chip with Universal. So you keep your thing, you're doing fine over there. Maybe you get a little loosey-goosey with your contract with Marvel so you can have that stuff back.
I mean, I'd be fine if they... tried to make a little Family Guy theme park up here for us would be
that would
be
I don't
nice,
think that's gonna happen.
No.
But, yeah.
But just being a Rhode Island person,
I mean, Family Guy, and that's the other thing. It's like there's going back to once again WWE WCW thing. It's like that's what it kind of is. Like WCW is like, so that's Universal in this scenario right now, and like let's let them have. I'm fine with letting them have certain things so that there's things to go to for there. Like, so you have Nintendo, that makes sense there. Like, Simpsons makes sense there. Family Guy would also make sense there. Mm-hmm. Alien would make sense there. Predator would make sense there. Terminator's been there. It makes sense there. Like, it can go on and on. But I think for both their sake, and just kind of going on a rant here, is that Marvel at this point, you might as well just relinquish it, Universal, and just get rid of it. I mean, you might as well.
Yeah.
Like, they got it. And if they're not going to do it in Orlando, they're going to do it everywhere else.
Yeah. I mean, 'cause when you do go to Universal, and I mean, as an adult, I could know the difference between the comics and things, but you see a little kid and they walk in there and they see, why is Captain America dressed up like that? I know, why is, it's just
better
to
just let that go.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So I guess, kind of getting towards the end here is, the verdict is uncertainty. I guess if you're gonna subscribe to the idea that this is not going to stop, right? Which could be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, the
could get bad.
The success they have and the amount of money that they won't stop until something happens.
Like if Disney scoops up Fast and the Furious, I'm gonna start saying to myself like, oh, okay, Like you're really just starting to go with everything you can as any success. At the same, and I don't want that to happen. Lord of the Rings, things like that. But at the same time, if they do, people let them do it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the only thing
not that
with
that's good for the entertainment value. It's probably not good. But when entertainment's a weird thing, it's just there. It's not necessary. It's just there for us to consume.
Yeah.
It's not oil. It's not gas. It's not heat and air conditioning. It's just food. It's just is what it is. Unfortunately, and right now Disney's a big player. Will that change? It could, I guess. I mean, Christ, Disney almost got taken over by a hostile takeover in the early '80s, and so they've been here before and been down before, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's just they I know they're making their money now, and it's just
Certainly.
The more they buy too, it just seems like us as consumers of this, we're feeling it because it's just this little nitpicky, like we're going to raise this price, because they got to pay for all this stuff to keep their profit margin where they want to. So maybe that'll reach a point where they won't, the parks won't be making as much money because people aren't going, and then it'll change a little bit and they'll focus more on what they have instead of what they want to acquire, and maybe just a little nitpicky, like even just you're raising parking overnight at a hotel. You just started having to pay for parking, and now you just raise it again and again. It's just little tiny things, just affect.
And I want to say to their credit, but I'm not going to say to their credit. I'm going to say, I think this is a thing because this is not to their credit. Because that'd be a positive, and I don't think this is a positive. But when they see it, top out, they'll stop for a little while. Like anything else.
Yeah.
Not a good or bad, not more of a bad thing than a good thing, I guess. But that's what they're doing. They're just kind of poking around. I mean, and they also have crowd control. So there's the profit margins versus what they're trying to do with keeping people in the parks, and it's a big.
But now even right now they're in a little bit of a pickle because this whole. We don't know how it's going to be in Disney World, but Disneyland with the Galaxy's Edge, they're not getting the crowds that they thought they were going to get. So now, like that, they just said they got rid of the cast member blackout, so they can come. They can come back in. So it's a little bit is happening now, but you just got to wait and see. But it's going to be.
I think World's going to be so much.
It's going to be different because it's just.
Yeah.
It's opposite. It's more tourists than annual pass holders. So we'll just.
World is one of those things where. Yeah, exactly. The annual passes. It's something crazy up in the Six Flags right now, and we were the kind of people that would go all the time. We would say we'll hold up for a few months, let that settle down. But this is like people are coming for vacation.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be different.
Yeah. I think at this point it's just a wait and see type of thing. It's you can't.
Maybe Disneyland might be the place to go to see Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So I guess the verdict here is that. It's up in the air. I don't. It's what's going on, and obviously no one's slowing it down right now. But we'll see what happens. And hopefully other studios are able to step their game up a little too to create a little more competition, and hopefully, knock on wood, the things that Disney does buy, they feel a need to keep its integrity. That's all you can really hope for. And
this could all change when Bob Iger does step down because he seems more of a CEO type guy that
just wants to
he's
take
the
everything.
buy. So what did he say? He's staying till 21, 22. So
he tried to leave already. They made him stay.
So it could change in just a couple of years. We could see a big difference.
We could see it settle down. And also, I mean, there was a stretch run here too, where things were available, and they took the opportunity, and the 50th anniversary is coming up, and the parks, and like Iger probably looked at the parks and said, these things haven't been touched. So that fueled a little. So let's see when they spruce everything up, if they go into another period where they kind of just lay dormant a little bit.
Yeah, and the 50th seems like they're really going crazy for 50th, and then we'll just see after that if it just let it settle and die down for a little bit and just let that ride its wave for a little bit.
It'll be interesting. We'll see. And hopefully the quality continues, or maybe you don't even agree that it's quality, but I think for the most part we've gotten decent films. It's like anything else. Nothing's perfect, but it's always, it's been decent. But with that said, and with us running out of time here, I am going to sign off by saying that, once again, any comments on that, on this, and I'm sure a lot of you have them, please, down below in the comments section on YouTube, John Castano, at John Castano. He's not a big Twitter user, but he might hit you back. You never know. He followed me, so
yeah, maybe I'll send my first tweet out.
at Quick Diz Takes. For me, I'm always on there, so I'll get back to you at the backsideofwater.icloud.com. Hit me up there. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, watch for other videos. Got a whole lot of stuff coming on. Also, next podcast we will have an idea when we're going to do Johnny's cooking show. Okay. So look out for that. We'll talk about it after we sign off here.
Try to get it done before I go on vacation.
Yeah, and then we'll get somewhat of a schedule or something. We'll figure it out. But I know people have been asking about that. So with that said, I'm Tim. This is John. And have a magical rest of your week.